Okay, guys, I'm like a minute and a half early, but I was just sitting here and I thought I would go live because it's been quite a day. It's been quite a day. It's been a little bit of a day. All right. So what I'm going to do in this live stream is I'm going to talk about what I experienced at the Capitol today. I'm going to take any of your questions. Now, I'm going to do questions in an order. The first order is I'm going to take questions from my locals community under, if you are in my locals community, you're going to want to go to the post where I said going live in half an hour to discuss my experience today at the Capitol. Some of you are already asking questions in the comments, and so those are the first questions I'm going to take. The second questions I'm going to take are super chats, and the last questions I'm going to take are anything else that I happen to see in the chat. I want to set some ground rules for this live stream because I've already seen some insults coming through. This is going to be a little bit more, I mean, let's just be honest. Today's events were controversial, so I know people are going to have their opinions. You will not insult me in the chat. If you insult me, I'm going to put you in a timeout first. If you do it again, you're going to get blocked. That's just going to be the way it is. I don't suffer that nonsense, not in my house. Okay, so I want to preface this entire discussion with the fact that I don't condone violence. I do not condone violence at all for any reason on either side. That's not my jam. I also do not think that breaking into the Capitol was the right thing to do. I certainly don't think the things that that I've heard that went on in the Capitol, those are not things that I would do and not things I would support and not things I would condone. I think that was stupid decisions. When you have a group of people that hundreds of thousands of people were there today. I mean, probably like getting close to like 1 million. There were a lot of people there. There were minimally tens of thousands of people at the Capitol. Anytime you have a group that large, you are going to have some flipping idiots in it. That is just the way it is. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm certain I'm going to have some questions about that. I do not think that they were all Antifa. I don't, not at all. I've seen some rumors on that, but I don't know. I also want to say that, like, you got to understand, like, I don't know fully what happened because I'm getting news here and there, but I also, like, I was out all day. Like, I was there. You only have a limited set of exposure when you're actually at something. So I do not know the full extent of what happened. I don't. I'm going to do my very best. I think that I've been able to piece some stuff together, but then obviously, like, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and so I don't necessarily know what's true and what's not. The best that I can say is that I'm going to talk about my experience. That is the only experience that I can talk about, and that's mine. So I want to give people a little overview of just kind of how the day went. So I've been up literally all day. I was actually out there by the ellipse around 7 a.m. this morning. I was out there for a while, just walking around, seeing what was going on. It was a wonderful event. People were in really, really, really good spirits. I mean, there's like a giant mass of people. I walked around I did not go into the ellipse because I didn't want to go through security and have all that, but I hung around in like the overflow area, which is by like in front of the Washington Monument. Okay, Jacob Hill. Oh, we're not going to put up with that, Jacob Hill. So I walked around there. I walked down to the Lincoln Memorial just to see what was going on, and that was all fine, well and good. Now, I left early. I did because I was freezing, and I also couldn't really hear anything that was being said. So I actually, before Trump came out, I actually went back to my hotel and watched Trump's speech on my computer because I wanted to see what he said. And I just couldn't even hear anything there. So I actually watched Trump's speech at the hotel, at my hotel, where I was nice and warm and I could sit in a chair. Now, after that speech, I wanted to go to the Capitol because here is why I originally went to the Capitol. I thought, and maybe I was just making this up in my head, but I thought there was going to be another set of speakers on the steps of the Capitol. That was my understanding. There was going to be something else going on at the Capitol. And so I was like, I'm going to walk down to the Capitol and just see what's what and see what's going on. And I get there, and there are a metric F ton of people there, and I couldn't really see what was happening. Now, the one thing that I will say is I did see that people were climbing onto the scaffolding, But for some reason, and this is maybe because I had already had a long day, I was already tired, I was already cranky, like I did not put 2 and 2 together. I kind of looked at the people on the scaffolding. I was like, why are they on the scaffolding? Like, that doesn't seem right. But I honestly didn't put the 2 together in my head, because for me, this looked like any other rally that I've been to. You guys know I've been to like a lot of flipping rallies. Like, this looked like any other rally. Mostly people were just hanging around on the lawn. Like, people were trying to move to get up close. And I, of course, was like trying to move through the crowd to get as close as I possibly could. And then at some point, like, I start seeing gas in the air. And I started hearing people say, well, they're tear gassing us. And I was like, I was like, that's not fucking tear gas. Like, why would they be tear gassing us? Like, this is a rally. Like, why would they be tear gassing? Honestly, again, I had not put 2 and 2 together in my head. And so I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's not tear gas. Like, why would that be tear gas? But as I got closer and I could actually smell it, and I saw the way it was impacting people, I was like, holy crap, this is actually tear gas. Like, I had no idea why they were tear gassing people, but it was like 100% tear gas. I posted a video on Twitter showing the tear gas. Tear gas actually, like, it went off right behind me, one of them, like, and thankfully, like, I didn't get it that badly because I ducked really quickly and covered my face. But that was kind of like when I figured out, I was like, something is wrong. Like, what is going on? And so then I started, like, I didn't even want to go. This is me. I was a little bit of a coward. I'm going to be honest. Like, when I first started realizing what was going on and people were like, we're storming the Capitol, I was like, I don't think this is a good idea. And I started trying to back out. But I also, like, in my head, I was like, I knew how the media was going to cover this. I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I was like, Carlin, you're here. You're really close. You know the media is going to spin a bunch of nonsense about what's going on here to make all Trump supporters look evil. So why don't you just film and walk around and see what's what and actually, like, get a good sense of what is actually going on? And so that's why I ended up kind of continuing to move forward to see what was going on. I hung out. I was, for most of it, I was near kind of like, okay, so when I got up there, like the bleachers were set up, I think, for like the inauguration, right? And so I ended up being like in front of the bleachers at one point, which is where you could really see like when they were doing tear gas. And I was like, I eventually like tried to move over to the side where they were like climbing through the scaffolding to get up the stairs. And that was when I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And I kind of started going back. I was like, this is not a good idea at all. But then, you know what happened is I not only wanted to just film and get footage and to be able to understand what happened for myself instead of, you know, getting fed a line of nonsense from wherever. But I was also like, I was like, I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, what I'm going to say. And I have already denounced the violence, and I stick to that. I do not condone going into the Capitol. I do not condone any of the destruction. I don't condone any of that. That's not good. The people who did that should be arrested. They should be prosecuted. I don't think we should tolerate that nonsense. But I will tell you, there was something exquisitely beautiful about watching little old ladies storm the Capitol. Because that's what I saw. That was what I saw. It was like, there were all different types of people. Do not listen to anyone that tells you that this was just like, you know, the, like, you know, burly, like intimidating looking men, or like, you know, Proud Boys or Antifa or any of that. Because it wasn't. It was everyone. It was everyone. It was everyone, all ages and, you know, skin colors and genders and everyone. And like the thing that just kept sticking out to me is I started to see these little old ladies over and like, and I'm talking little old ladies dressed in full fur and looking their best, like they're going to church, and they're storming the Capitol. And like the moment I kind of decided to move forward and to go up the stairs was literally like someone who watches my channel recognized me, and I was leaving. I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And she recognized me. She grabbed me. She says, Carlin, I've been following you since the beginning. You have to do this. You have to see this through. Come on, we're going to go up there. And, you know, the people that I was with, no one was doing anything. Like, you got to understand, the vast majority of people were like standing around and taking video and having a good time with it and joking and bantering, and they weren't really doing there was nothing of note. Like, when I started hearing about what had gone on inside the Capitol, it was like at the point where I was almost going to leave anyway, because I had been there for so long, because most of the people that I was around were just literally standing around, and they were carrying flags around, and they were chanting USA, 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 our house, our house, our house. Like, it was not anything that I never felt unsafe, except for the tear gas. I didn't like the tear gas, but I never felt unsafe. I never felt like I was in danger. I started getting like all these, because I think I posted on Twitter at one point, because I actually got service. And I was joking when I posted. I was like, "We're storming the Capitol now," or something like that. And I started getting these calls like, "Carlin, are you okay? Are you?" And I think the news had broken, is what had happened. And like, people were freaking out, and I'm like, "I'm fine. I don't feel like I'm in danger." Like, everything was cool so far as I was concerned. Now, I want to say a couple of things, and then I'm just going to get in and take some of your questions. First off, listen, here is the thing. So people are already talking about how, like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened for the conservative movement. No, it's not. I'm sorry. No, it's not. If you believe it is, it will be. But the thing of it is this. First off, I do not give a flying flip about perception from people who are hell-bent on hating Trump supporters anyway. I do not care. I do not care what they think. If this hurts the perception of Trump supporters, guess what? It was only going to do it with people who already hated them anyway, and people who are not interested in the truth. And I understand that some of the things I'm going to say in this live stream is probably not going to be popular, and it's going to get clipped and like taken out of context, stuff like that. I do not care, because I am interested in the truth of what happened and what I experienced. And for people that, if I do not, like, I've been denounced by like people that I used to be friends with at this point, and which is always an interesting experience, to be denounced by people. And you know what? These are people that all summer, all fall, when Antifa was rioting and BLM was rioting and looting and destroying things, they didn't say a word. They did not say one word. If you did not denounce what Antifa and Black Lives Matter did for months and months and months and months and months, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck what you think on what happened at the Capitol. I just don't care. You do not have standing, so far as I'm concerned, to make any judgment about the morality of what happened today at the Capitol when you didn't denounce violence and looting and thuggish behavior for months and months and months. And this is particularly true of, like, I was literally chased by Black Lives Matter. You guys know that. It's been on this channel. I was on news, right? Like, if you didn't denounce shit like that, or crap like Brandon and Mikey getting attacked after leaving the White House and having homophobic slurs like hurled at them from Black Lives Matter, I do not care what you think. If you didn't denounce that and you're expecting me to denounce this, go fuck yourself. That is exactly how I feel about that situation. So no, I do not think that this is the worst thing that's ever happened for the conservative movement. I think it is if you treat it like it is. What I think people should be saying, standing up and be like, what did they say about the protests over the summer? Like, 70% were peaceful or something like that. Like, I don't remember what the exact statistic was, but you know what? What I experienced today is that 99.9% of the people at the Capitol were peaceful, were standing around, weren't doing anything, weren't destroying any property. Like, that was my experience. And I don't care if that's an unpopular opinion or not. That was what I experienced. I had no idea what had happened in the building until afterwards, when I heard about it from the news. And now that's being made out to be like the end all be all of what happened. And it is simply not true. There is a much bigger story here. And here's the other thing I want to say. What did you expect to happen? Someone said 93%. I'm sorry, 93% of the BLM protests were peaceful. Well, guess what? Again, 99.9% of the Trump supporters at the Capitol today were peaceful. But here's the other thing. Like, I really don't know what people expected to happen. I don't know what they expected to happen. When you think about the people at the Capitol today, these are people that for 5 years have been vilified, have been called names, called racist, called Nazi, called all the different phobes, told they're horrible people, told they're stupid. They've been censored. They've been fired from their jobs. They have lived in fear of wearing a goddamn hat. Okay? I don't know what you expected to happen. At some point, it becomes too much. And then you have, on top of that, that there are very legitimate questions about what happened in this election, and neither side has answered it. These people have not gotten their day in court. All they wanted was for someone to look at the evidence and make a judgment. The Supreme Court abdicated that responsibility. So I really don't know what you expected to happen. When this is a community of people that are good people, that are salt of the earth people, that wanted the law and the process to protect them, and then hasn't. It hasn't. And so, like, I don't know what you wanted. Like, what I loved about today, and there were parts of it that I did love, is that I saw a population that has been bullied, that has been picked on, that has been beaten down for years and years and years, and I saw them find their power again. And people don't know what I mean when I say that. They found their internal power again. They said, we're not going to take this. We're not going to do it. And we're going to show you what we can do when you push us too far. And for the vast majority of them, it was an exercise in showing that they could walk up those steps and stand there in their house, the house that they pay for. Now, some people took it way too far, and it is very sad. It is very sad that a life was lost. That's horrible. That's horrible. But that's not the first type of life that's been lost in this type of scenario. Antifa murdered a Trump supporter in cold blood in the middle of the street. How many people died in the Chaz over the summer that were never denounced? How many small businesses have been destroyed? How many of those small business owners have contemplated suicide? You don't get to judge what happened today at the Capitol unless you've denounced all of that too. That's the people's house, man. We pay for those people to be there. We pay all of their salaries. They are there by our consent. They're there by our consent. And today, a large group of them stood up and they found their power and they said, no, you do answer to us. You do answer to us. So that's how I feel about it, man. I don't think this was the worst thing that can happen. I loved that I watched so many people find their strength, because that is not something people that don't know Trump's, like, I feel like I've gotten to know Trump supporters pretty well in the last year. People who don't know, first of all, people who think that all Republicans and Trump supporters are the same thing do not understand this. And people who haven't spent a lot of time with Trump supporters don't understand this, is a lot of times they are the very last people to speak up for themselves and defend themselves in the face of overwhelming attacks from everyone in their lives, from their employers to, the freaking people who judge them for wearing a MAGA hat, to their own family, their own friends and family who have abandoned them because of what they believe politically. These are people who take a lot, and it was one step too far. And that's why today happened. It was one step too far. And to not acknowledge the abuse and harassment that this community of people has been under for 5 years, and to paint them out to be these vicious people, I'm sorry, it is absolutely not the truth. It is not the truth. And I don't know how many people are going to stand up and say that. Like, it seems to be really the thing right now to denounce it. Oh my God. No. I love watching people when they finally realize that they can do it, that they can stand up for themselves, that they can speak up. That, to me, is the most beautiful thing in the world. And if people don't like it, I don't really know what to say, but that, to me, is beautiful. And I just think back to, like, I was literally bursting out laughing the entire time because I was, like, looking around at these little old ladies who were, like, the little old ladies, man, they were the most determined of them all. They were the most determined of them all. You don't take shit from little old ladies, man. I'll tell you what. So I kind of hung out at the Capitol for a little while. I wanted to make sure I saw the extent of what was going on. And then I came back. And that was really it. Like, this is, I think, like, this is being, my perception of this is that a good amount of it is being portrayed as, like, much more dramatic than it actually was for the vast, vast, vast majority of people there. That's my perception. Now, that's not, again, I'm not talking about what happened inside the Capitol. I wasn't there. I didn't see that. I didn't go inside the building. I could have gone inside the building. I elected not to because I thought that that was stupid and frankly dangerous, and I didn't want to. Like, I don't condone that crap. But what was going on the outside, for the most part, was people chanting USA, 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 people who are very proud of their country, people who are... What people need to understand is this is not just about Trump. This is not about Trump for this community. Yes, Trump is a piece of it. Of course he is. How could he not be? But this is not just about Trump. This is about voter fraud. This is about the future. This is about ensuring that people can have faith in their elections. And this is a community that believes deeply in that. They believe deeply in the founding principles of this country. That's what they're fighting for. This is a much bigger picture than Trump. This is a much bigger picture than this election. Like, what happened at the Capitol today was a group of people finally, how many of us have been begging Trump supporters to stand up for themselves? They did it today. They absolutely did. And I think that everyone that was there peacefully, that didn't destroy anything, that didn't break anything, that didn't go in the building, that were just hanging out and showing people that they were not afraid of them. Because we should not be afraid of our elected representatives. They should be afraid of us. That is the reality. They govern by our consent. Our taxes pay their salaries, and the salaries of their staff, and the resources that they need to do everything. They govern by our consent. So I think that showing up and saying, you owe us an explanation, you owe us a process, the people that were there defending the rights of 74 million people, and they do take that seriously. And I'm not going to say that I condemn it. I'm not. I condemn the violence. I condemn the destruction. I don't condemn the whole thing. Absolutely not. I think a lot of it was really beautiful. And people can understand that in the way that I'm intending it, or they can willfully misinterpret it, and that is entirely up to them. But today gave me a lot of hope, and it gave me a lot of optimism that this is a group of fighters. Like Trump's speech, and Don Jr.'s speech more so. Like, Don Jr.'s been on fire lately, man. Don Jr.'s speech and Trump's speech, they were about fighting for what you believe in and what you want, and not giving up when people tell you no. And I think that it is incumbent, if anyone watching this was there, I think it is incumbent upon the people who are there today to make sure we are telling the full story about what happened, because the media is going to lie. They're going to lie. They're going to make it seem like something it wasn't. They're going to make it seem like all Trump supporters are evil, and this was just the Proud Boys, blah, 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 race supremacists, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's what they're going to make it seem like. It is incumbent upon everyone that was there today to tell the accurate and true story of what happened today, from your perspective, from what you experienced. So I would encourage everyone, maybe you don't make a video about it, maybe you don't put it on YouTube, whatever, but at least do it to your friends and family. You know, I've been condemned by people who I thought were my friends for simply being there today when I didn't even know what was going on until I was already in it, and then it seemed irresponsible to leave. So I think that it's incumbent upon us to stick to our guns and say, this is not what you think it is. And you know what? Maybe they'll believe you, maybe they won't. But at least you stood up and you told the truth, because that That should be what matters the most. All right, let me take some questions. Again, first, I'm going to go to my locals community and take questions there. So if you are watching and you are in my locals community, please go to find the post where I said going live in half an hour and leave a comment on it, and you're free to ask me a question. Next, I will be taking super chats. And then if I feel like it, feel like I want to keep going, I'll take some in the chat as well. But I'm open to any question, and we're just gonna see how it goes. All right, let me see. All right. One person in local says, I'm sad today and very frustrated. I feel betrayed by the VP. I don't think we should feel betrayed by him. I think that he's going to do what he thinks is right. Listen, man, I've been trying to prepare you guys for months that this was probably going to end up with Biden. We were probably going to end up with Biden. It is what it is. I think that there are a lot of things working against Trump in this regard. I don't think that this is necessarily going to be bad, though. I really don't. I think Trump could potentially be more effective outside of office. In terms of really establishing populism and or Trumpism, for lack of a better word, as a viable path moving forward. I think that that's necessary. I think that it is good that frankly I think the Republican Party with Mitch McConnell, I think that party's dead. I do, and I think that's a really good thing. I do. I think it's going to be better for all of us. All right. Next question. Please let people know that Mitch McConnell is going to try to have a vote in the dead of night while patriots are held back by curfew. I guess I just did let people know that. I don't know anything about that just yet. All right. Next question. What caused the escalation of supporters storming the Capitol? That's a good question. I don't have an answer to it. I don't know, because they were already doing it by the time I got there. So I don't know exactly what caused it. I don't know when people went in the building. It was already happening when I got there, but it seemed, again, from afar, it seemed just like people were gathering for a rally. That's what it seemed like from afar. It wasn't until you got closer to it, or maybe even when it really started escalating, that it became clear, at least to me. Maybe I'm just stupid. Maybe I was tired. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was cranky. But that was my experience of it. Is I did not realize what it was happening until I was much closer. And you had to go through, okay, it was not easy to get up to the front. That was a good hour of work just there, because it was near impossible. And so you really had to work for it. And so people who were just coming to kind of hang out and watch the spectacle, because it was the amount of, oh my God, guys, the amount of people, it was breathtaking how many people showed up on a Wednesday midweek. Are you kidding me? It was breathtaking. So I could definitely see how a lot of people would be there not really understanding what was happening, because you had to get closer. And you also have to understand too, is that you couldn't get on the internet. There was no internet. There were too many people. So it wasn't like you could go on Twitter and check the news and be like, oh, they're storming the Capitol. Again, I didn't have access to any of that information, so I have no idea. The next question I have from locals is, how much of this do you think was Trump supporters, and how much do you think Antifa insurgents trying to cause chaos? I have heard that there was a busload of Antifa insurgents. So I'm not going to dismiss that as a possibility. But guys, I think that I don't think that it benefits Trump supporters to deny the involvement of Trump supporters. I'm sorry. They were involved. They absolutely 100% were. This was not all Antifa. There's a picture going around, by the way, of a guy with horns, and people are saying he's a leftist. He goes to Black Lives Matter protests. I know who that guy is. The guy with the horns. Here, I'm going to show it right now. Actually, I'm going to show it right now. I'm going to bring his picture up. I know who this guy is. I'm going to tell you why I know who he is in a second. Hang on. Okay, found him. Let's see. Share screen. Chrome tab. This one. This guy right here they're saying that like he's like a BLM person. He's not a BLM person. And the reason I know that is he was at the Arizona walkaway protest. He just goes to protest. That's just his thing. He's a Trump supporter, man. So don't lie. Don't lie about what happened. Those were most of them. Maybe not all of them. I do believe there were some Antifa there, but it was not all Antifa. It wasn't. And I think that you like saying that it was, it delegitimizes everything. I've always hated this excuse that anytime someone on the right does something bad, inevitably a group of people are going to come and say like, Carlin, don't you know they're a secret leftist? Like, no, they're not. Most of the time, they're not. This is an excuse that the right makes when they don't want to accept responsibility. It's bullshit. Just accept responsibility, man. Just accept responsibility. You know? Let's see. Yeah, so I got a message in locals again. Saying, you know, my friends are unwilling to listen. Yeah, my friends are, my old friends now are unwilling to listen. But guess what, guys? Guess what? There's a whole group of people out there that is willing to listen, that does care about the truth, that does care that there are two sides or more than two sides to every story. Again, I think maybe I've just snapped in this regard where I do not care what they think. If people are hell-bent on looking at this and only seeing the worst of the worst, when I just love it when people empower themselves. I love it when people empower themselves. I love it when people doubt themselves and doubt their abilities and finally reach a point where they do it. They do the thing they want to do, and then they see that it's not maybe as scary as they originally thought it was. Now, did I expect that to come in the form of storming the Capitol? No, I did not. No, I did not. But I looked at today and I thought there was so much beauty in it, and so much to be said about the human spirit. You guys know I love an underdog. I really do. I love an underdog. And I've always said that Trump supporters are the ultimate underdogs. And I couldn't help just there were moments today where I was just standing there just looking at what everyone was doing and seeing the joy on their faces. They chanted USA, USA, USA. So much pride for their country. And now they're being judged by people who think this country is a shithole. I don't care what they think. I don't care. I don't care. And we've got to stop caring. We've got to stop making their opinions of you and of us the end all be all. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Did you feel good? I felt great today. You know, I've been on the phone for the last couple hours with people who were there today. And I mean, you guys can probably guess who they are, but I've been on the phone with people who were there and, you know, or people, some of them have watched from afar. And, you know, what they say is Carlin, I thought it was pretty great. I did. I thought it was pretty great. And I thought it was pretty great too, man. I did. And I'm sure that me admitting that on camera, on a live stream in front of 1,500 people is going to bite me at some point, or I'm going to get canceled or something. I don't think I can get canceled anymore. I think I've been sufficiently canceled now where I can pretty much say what I want to say, but that is the truth. I thought it was I thought that the components of it that were peaceful, where people were, you know, they were standing around, I thought it was wonderful. I did. I thought it was great. And nothing that anyone says, or all the pearls they might clutch. Oh my God, the pearl clutching that's been going on today. I don't care. I thought it was great. All right, let me go into some super chats. I'm going to read them in the order in which they came in. And I do appreciate the support, guys. I know that this video is going to get demonetized because it's going to be, they're going to say I was promoting or it's terrorism or something. Like, so the super chats really are going to be like the support for this video, and I do greatly appreciate it. Cindy became a member. I have just launched memberships for the channel. Thank you, Cindy, for becoming a member. Naruto says, hey, do you think the GOP is done for? I think they're done for in the sense of the pre-Trump GOP. Yeah, I do. I think that loss in Georgia was Mitch McConnell's fault. It was entirely his fault. And the freaking establishment Republicans that after the election, they just wanted to pretend that Trump didn't exist anymore. I think that GOP is deader than dead, and I'm loving every minute of it. Love it. I think it's awesome. And I really, again, guys, I do have a lot of optimism about what's going on. I don't think that we're going to descend into socialism overnight. Are the Democrats probably going to pass some crazy shit? Oh yeah, I'm sure they will. But I also don't think they're going to be able to pass the most crazy stuff. I don't. And I think that there's a lot of reason to be optimistic, because I do think that the Republican Party, as it existed before Trump, needs to die. They need to die. And the spirit that I saw today, dude, the spirit that I don't use this term all that often because I think it's kind of like a little cheesy, but like the spirit that I saw today was 1776, man. That's what it was. The spirit that I saw today was the same spirit that I suspect the founding fathers had when they were telling Britain to go screw. Maybe the Patriot Party was launched today. I don't know, but I would be down for it every day of the week. Again, I don't support the violence. I don't support the destruction. I don't support breaking into the Capitol. I do think it was a little funny that they took pictures of Nancy Pelosi's emails and left her a sternly worded note. Like, it was like, when did Cassandra Fairbanks retweet on that? Like, that was funny. I'm going to show you guys this. I thought this was flipping hilarious. Hang on. I just retweeted it. Okay. So let me share my screen again. Maybe share tab. Okay. So Cassandra Fairbanks tweeted, so here is the note. This is chilling, says Alexis. Someone walked into Nancy Pelosi's office and left this note on her desk. We will not back down. And they also took pictures of her emails. And then someone responded. They said, Antifa burns the place down. MAGA leaves a strongly worded note. That's true, man. That's kind of funny. I'm sorry. Like, if you can't find the humor in that, and then you're like, I don't know what to say about you. All right, guys, if you're enjoying this stream so far, it would really help me out if you could hit the thumbs up button. Maybe consider subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. That would be awesome, and I appreciate the help and support. All right. Oh, we got 750 thumbs up. So I'd really like to get it over 1,000, guys. Get the likes up over 1,000. Do it for Adam. If you don't want to do it for me, do it for Adam, who was in DC today somewhere. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him because there was just like no cell service. But he was here, so hit the like button for Adam. Naruto said my mom's husband was at the Capitol, but thankfully didn't go in. Yeah, I'm pretty thankful I didn't go in too, to be honest. Like, and to be honest, like for me, it wasn't ever I never even thought about it as like a serious consideration. I was like, in fact, I was like, no, like I didn't even want to be like, I was up, I don't even know how to describe it, honestly. Like I was up behind the grandstands, just like walking around, where everyone else was like walking around. And that was even really uncomfortable for me. I was like, I don't know if I should be doing this, but, you know, there was nothing that was like, no property was destroyed so far as I saw it that out there. So I was okay with it. And then I just peacefully left. I just walked away. I walked away from the Capitol, literally. Maddie H says, if nothing else, this is further proof that America and the West in general needs viable third parties. P.S. Glad you're okay. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree that that we need a third party. I 100% agree. And I think, you know, I've almost reached a kind of peace with it where we're gonna have 2 years of establishment Democrats and establishment Republicans screwing around and doing stupid establishment things, with the exception of a few young upstarts like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. and Madison. I think like there's going to be some upstarts that are going to make things interesting, but mostly it's going to be a boring like couple of years, probably with some infuriating things that happen. But I think there needs to be a third party, and I really think that this was the only way that a third party was going to happen. I do. Maybe that's why. Again, I firmly believe that everything happens for a reason. Everything has a purpose, and I believe that maybe the purpose of this was to make a viable third party. We'll see. We'll see. Shh, thank you for the $2 super chat, Shu. Polly B says, just so everybody knows, the house is we the people owns it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Alicia says, we are not subjects that they can rule. They need to know who their boss is. We elect them, and they need to know that we the people are in charge. I absolutely agree with you. Nuratu says, if Trump had won, it would have been Antifa and BLM storming the Capitol. Frankly, it could have been much worse. It would have happened anyway. Yes, I 100% agree with that. BLM and Antifa have done this for months with reckless abandon and have faced no consequences for it. Of course they would have stormed the Capitol if they thought that Trump won. Of course they would have. They would have done that in a heartbeat. They probably would have set it on fire. Who are we kidding? That absolutely would have happened. It didn't. Thank God. Thank God. And thank God, I mean, like, it's so hypocritical. It is so hypocritical that now all the people are clutching their pearls. Oh my God, this is a disgrace. Didn't say shit for months. Didn't say shit. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the hypocrisy anymore. If you didn't condemn one, then keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. All right, let me see. Carol Ann, thank you for the super chat, Carol Ann. Elizabeth says, it's been longer for 5 years. The attack on the working class has been going on for over a decade. Today was the single straw that finally broke. Yeah, I agree with that. I think like we can trace back at least to Reagan, with Republicans being called racist. And it probably was going on before that. That's just like as far back as I've gone so far. But like we can trace back to at least to every president in the last, every Republican president and presidential candidate for the last 40 years has dealt with this crap. And it's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It was going to snap at some point. And to be frank, everyone is damn lucky that they didn't turn into BLM and Antifa. And I refuse to accept that there is an apples to apples correlation between what happened at the Capitol today and what BLM and Antifa have been doing for months. This is not an apples to apples comparison. The people that were at the Capitol today fundamentally love this country. They love this country and the values that it was founded on. BLM and Antifa hate this country. They want to see this country destroyed. This is not an apples to apples comparison. And anyone who thinks it is not either not very smart or they haven't fully investigated the issue. That's just reality. All right, let me see. I'm listening says, I was thrilled watching the Patriots enter the building. Now let's see if it was heard because there was fraud. Yeah, I mean, I think that, listen, they haven't gotten their day in court. Literally, they have not gotten their day in court. Now, maybe that would have happened today with the objections if that had gone on. But you know what? Listen, when civil disobedience, this is a situation of their creation. I'm sorry. Like, this is a situation of their creation. When they're going around saying Antifa is just an idea. Well, guess what? Guess what? Maybe what happened at the Capitol today is just an idea. Like, are we sure? Like, it's like when not only about the election, but every concern that's been brought up for months, from COVID to masks to vaccinations to lockdowns to 2 weeks to slow the spread, turning into a fucking year, and now with it inevitably, which is going to go on for a whole other year, small businesses being destroyed. How much do you expect people to take, man? How much do you expect people to take? Like, it was going to blow at some point, and it frankly could have blown much, much, much worse than it did today. Dragon Water says, Carlin, do you think some good will come of today? Like I said, I think that there was a lot of good that came from today. I do. I like all the people that I've seen, they were psyched. They felt great. It was like seeing a new spirit come through people that they hadn't experienced for a while, or maybe they hadn't given themselves credit to be able to experience it. I think it's great. I think that they found their power today. And what I mean by power is not in the same way like Black Lives Matter, like power. I don't mean it that way. I mean their internal empowerment, to be able to stand up and to stand proud and to say, no, not today, motherfuckers. That's what I'm talking about. 1776, baby. Yes, exactly that. My Scampy Mama says, thank you for your perspective. Stay safe. Thank you. I'm safe. I'm in the hotel. I'm not leaving tonight. I ordered dinner, you know. I don't know what's going on outside right now. I hope everyone just stays in and stays safe. I think we've had enough excitement for one night, I think. Naruto says, B for Vendetta has some great quotes. Yes, it does. Fun fact, I got married on November 11th. And people had to wear Guy Fawkes masks to the wedding. So I've seen V for Vendetta many times. I've read the book as well. Formerly Rod Line says, the optics are bad. It looks like an Antifa protest. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. No, it doesn't. And we've got to stop fucking worrying about the goddamn optics. I do not care. I do not care. It doesn't. The first half of this day was completely peaceful. It was completely peaceful. Guess how it was going to get painted? If none of this had happened, guess how the first half of today would have been painted? Oh, these insurgents coming to stage a coup d'etat in the Capitol. That's exactly how it would have been painted. It was completely peaceful protest. We have got to stop fucking worrying about the goddamn optics. I'm so sick of this shit. It does not matter. Like, this is what people need to wrap their heads around. It does not matter what actually happens. It does not matter what the truth is. The media is going to paint it negatively no matter what. No matter what. So fuck it. Like, what is the incentive? If you're going to get made to look like a monster regardless, then what is the incentive? I don't think there is one. And I think that it is more important that the people that were there today feel proud and feel empowered and feel good about showing up and standing up for what they believe in. Again, I'm not talking about the people who broke into the Capitol. I'm not talking about the people who damaged property. I'm not talking about any violence. I'm not talking about that. That is a separate issue. I do not support that. But for the people that just showed up and had their voices heard, they should feel incredibly proud, and that's all that should matter. That is all that should matter, that they feel good. I'm going to go to bed tonight, and I'm going to feel just fine. What I saw today made me so happy. It made me so happy. And I don't know that... I know that a lot of people aren't going to understand that, right? But I don't really care. If it wasn't this, they would find something other reason to hate me. So I don't really care. And this is the reality that they've created with the cancel culture and the censoring and the constantly putting people down and not even being open to having a conversation. This is what they have created. So if I can't win, then why would I even try to play your fucking game in the first place? F YouTube, good name. Says, what do you think about the divide with the response in general towards the storming of the building in DC today? I'm not sure I understand the question. What do you think about the divide with the response in general towards the storming of the building in DC today? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. I think I may have already answered it, to be honest. And I apologize for that. Oh, super chat jump. Oh my God. Oh my God. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support. Again, if you haven't hit that like button yet, we're over 1,000. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys. Make sure you mount the like button, guys. All right. In fact, I have a super chat live on air. Says, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you, live on air. All right. Sorry, I need to go back and find my place. Robert Myers says, I'm so proud of you. You are so correct. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. Naruto, thank you for all the super chats. How ridiculous do you, the media, is about to get with outrage clicks that they no longer have Trump to pick on every day? Yeah, I mean, like, here's what I'm concerned about, because addictions don't go away. The addiction to outrage isn't going to go away just because Trump leaves office. That's not going to go away. And also, it's like they have to make money somehow. They have made a metric F ton of cash under Trump, and now they have to go to covering Joe Biden. I'm sorry, what? The outrage addiction is going to go somewhere, and it's probably going to be directed to Trump supporters still, because they don't know how to do anything different. And so I think we need to hunker down and prepare for that. But you know what, guys? Like, when you stop giving a flip what these people think, then they stop having that power over you. Stop caring what they think. Stop caring, by the way, what influencers on Twitter think too. Like, who really gives a flip? Most of the ones that we're talking smack about today weren't there. They didn't have the stones, even if they live in DC or the greater area. They didn't have the stones to come today and actually see for themselves. They were tweeting from their damn offices. So no, I don't care what you think. No. It's okay. You don't always have to, like, take everyone's opinion into consideration. Do you think BLM does that? Do you think Antifa does that? No. Do you think Democrats do that in general? No. Do you think Nancy Pelosi does that? No. Do you think AOC does that? God, no. Stop it. Just stop. Sam Walsh says, still down to have a discussion, maybe before Inauguration Day. Yes, Sam. I'm sorry. I know I owe you an email. I owe a couple other people emails too. I'm going to be scheduling some live streams. I don't know if it's going to be before Inauguration Day. I'm going to be honest. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but I am down to have a discussion. Dragon Water says, I kind of wish I had been in DC at the rally. The rally was great, man. It was great. Like, I cannot believe how many people showed up on a Wednesday. Are you kidding me? No, I think it was fantastic. And I'm really glad I came. I wouldn't have wanted to be anywhere else. Tanner Sandell says, love the channel. What made you change to Republican? So first off, I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I have thought about joining the Republican Party. I was going to. I felt very strongly about joining the Republican Party before the election. And then, frankly, I saw how crazy that people got after the election. And I was kind of like, maybe not. And then I saw how, like, the Mitch McConnell, I'm going to call them the Mitch McConnell Republicans, just started pretending that Trump didn't exist. And I was like, hang on a second, motherfucker. Trump is the one that brought you for the last 4 years, Mitch. Like, you would have had Hillary otherwise, please. And so, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the Republican Party at this point. I'm not a conservative. Like, you guys know that I'm not a conservative. I'm pretty centrist on most things. I believe in common sense. I like, my priority is on issues that actually help people in the real world. Who would have thunk it? But, you know, so I do tend to appreciate a populist message. But frankly, there's populism on the right and there's populism on the left. And I think that the populists on both sides have more in common than they might think. And I think that it would benefit all of them if they learned how to play a little bit more nicely. So I don't know if I'm going to become a Republican. I actually thought about, because one of the reasons I was thinking about becoming a Republican was running for office. And I actually thought about today, I was like, maybe I should, like, deliberately call myself a rhino and say, I literally only became a Republican to run for office, but I hate the traditional Republican Party and here's what I believe in, and have it be like a more populist message, honestly, like more centrist, more like moderate. Like, I think, you know, I believe in fiscal responsibility. I also believe that we should make healthcare more accessible. I believe in, you know, all this, whatever. I'll make a more cohesive list after I haven't had a very long day. But I thought that would be kind of funny to, like, literally proactively brand myself a rhino and say, I'm not a Republican in the way that you think of Republicans. I'm a Republican because I believe in, like, some of this populist stuff. And it's my only option to register as a major party because the Democrats are insane. All right, let me see. Wes, thank you for for the $5. Mom E says the crazier they get, the harder the pendulum will swing back at the midterms. Yeah, I agree. I think that we're going to have this nightmare of the Democrats controlling everything for 2 years. And then I think the Republicans are going to come back and win the House in an epic way. Maybe I'll be one of the Republicans going to the House. Who knows? Who knows? I've not made any decisions about that. The awkwardly aspiring polyglot says Facebook friends are saying that the horns guy was a Marxist tattoo, though. Can he clarify? It's not a Marxist tattoo. That's not the horns guy, by the way. That's the other guy. It's not a Marxist tattoo. I think it has to do with a video game. But it's not. It's not. People are lying that are saying that, or maybe they think they're telling the truth, but it's not accurate. Chris Marler says, I needed to hear this today. My heart is heavy. Thanks for bringing the positive spin. You're very welcome. Dragonwater says, Carlin, you are way cooler than Adam. Adam's pretty damn cool. I'm not gonna own that. Adam's awesome. Please. Please. I'm disappointed I didn't get to see him. Whatever. Jackie, thank you for the $20. Oh, Manuel, thank you becoming a new member. Guys, I just launched memberships on my channel. Now, I do tend to try to get you guys into my locals community instead. The basic membership on my channel is the same as my locals community. But if you don't want to do that, I understand. It's like another whole platform you have to use. I definitely do appreciate the members. It really does help to be able to have that consistent income. And it is greatly going to help me in my work for 2021. So I really do appreciate it. Cold Summer said, I had a feeling something crazy was going to go on today, so it's not surprising. Also, the hypocrisy on both sides is driving me insane. I agree. I had a funny feeling about today. I was nervous. I was really nervous about today. And I didn't know why. But I had a feeling that something was going to happen. And it definitely did. It definitely did. Nathan says, any third party needs to start at a local level. Do we have the time to get the setup? Do we even trust the system after the blatant cheating? I mean, I think those are very reasonable considerations. Okay. Sarah says, thank you for saying all the positive things mainstream media isn't. Trump got locked out of Twitter. I heard that they were deleting his post. Trump's going to get banned from Twitter. Trump's going to get banned from Twitter on like January 20th at noon 01. So I hope he's got his Parler account ready, man. Twitter's going to die a slow, horrible death after they ban Trump, and I'm not upset about that. Twitter is a hell pit cesspool. I'm probably going to get banned from it. Make sure you're following me on Parler, by the way. I'm just Carlin on Parler, just my first name. I'm also on Gab at Carlin. I'm on Minds at Carlin. I'm on CloudHub, I think, but I don't really use it because no one really follows me. But definitely make sure you're following me on Parler if you are not already. Let's see. Ashley Claire, glad you didn't go in. Some of the pics taken at the Capitol were hilarious. I love the guys chilling in the offices. I really haven't seen any of those. I just saw the Nancy Pelosi ones, but I'm trying to look at just like the primary source documentation to figure out what's going on because I don't trust. I know what my experience is. I don't trust anyone else's like version of the experience, to be really honest. McKenna Helliker, third party, yes, please. Otherwise, it's time for an amicable divorce. Our differences have become inconsolable. Moral relativism is the disease. Well, we'll see. Oh, God. Super chat jump. Sorry, guys. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the support. Elizabeth Barlow says, notice that some people who called civil war for 4 years are the same people condemning patriots now. Self-fulfillment right there. I mean, isn't that always the way? These people project. That's what it is. That's what it is. And the thing of it is, too, is like, they don't want Trump supporters to be good people. They need them to be the bad guy. They need them to be the boogeyman. And it's really upsetting because they are really good people. And they love this country. They love this country so much. And they're up against people who hate this country and hate what it stands for and want to tear it down. And it just makes me incredibly, incredibly sad to see how much love and admiration these people have for this country and what it's given them and the freedoms and the unique role that it plays in the world. And just to get shit on nonstop all the time. And then you're curious about why this happened? That's why it happened. That's why it happened. Bruh says, got any book recommendations for the times? My ultimate book recommendation anytime I want perspective is Conversations with God, honestly. It's not a Christian book, not even really a religious book, to be honest. But it'll give you perspective. If you're looking for perspective in this crazy time, then Conversations with God is my answer. All right. E. Jackson says, how can we ever win again if elections are fraudulent? I'm so heartsick. Once we have blatant fraud, it doesn't matter how many votes we get. They just monitor the amount and come up with more votes. We can't ever get power again. You can't have that attitude, man. You cannot have that attitude. Like, you guys have got to stop being so goddamn defeatist. What I loved about today was it was not a defeatist day. There was not a single person who had a defeatist attitude in the crowd. These were people that showed up, that were optimistic, that were fighting for what they believed in, regardless of the outcome, because they wanted to stand up for their beliefs. If you are bringing a defeatist attitude into the equation, you are absolutely right. You will never win again. You have to have a good attitude. You have to have a positive attitude. Trump knows this, man. This is why Trump's been so optimistic. Trump knows the power of a positive attitude. It's my understanding he's studied like the power of positive thinking. He employs that in his life. Like, and you can tell about his attitude for everything. You have to employ the same thing. You've got to understand that the way you perceive a situation, the story you tell in your head, the inner dialogue that you have, that will directly dictate your actions in the real world. If you believe that you are defeated, you are absolutely defeated. But dude, think back to the Founding Fathers. This was a small little band of ragtag, like misfits that came together and they got it done. They got it done against all odds. You think we can't do that? Of course we can. Of course we can. Queen of Spades says, I'm glad you're okay. I was worried about you. Stay strong. Fight the good fight. Thank you. Canned Parmesan said, just has $5. Thank you for that. Terry Clark, I disagree that Biden will be a moderate. He's an empty suit and will do what he's told if he makes it past 100 days. Then why hasn't he met with Black Lives Matter? Why didn't he appoint a metric F-ton of progressives to his cabinet? He hasn't done these things. It's pissing off Biden is essentially egging on an internal feud in the Democratic Party between the progressives and the rest of the Democrats. I disagree. I don't think that Biden is going to do crazy stuff. I think Kamala would. I'm much more afraid of Kamala than I am of this, or than I am of Biden, but, whatever. Chuck Barrett says the Dems and the GOP are on hospice care. I mean, I really do think they are. Pagan Libertarian says Buffalo guy for president 24. What Matters says, I found hope today. I did too, man. There was so much. And again, like, there's so much hope. So much hope. So much good. I know it seems like we should be down in the dumps and like, woe is us and all that, but that is exactly the wrong answer, guys. I think that I really believe, and I think part of it is just a gut instinct, but I really do believe that we're on to something. I do. And sometimes you have to take a little setback. Sometimes you have to, accept that something didn't work out the way you wanted it to, but that means that you're setting yourself up for something even better. Maybe I'll talk about this with Joshua on our show next week, but I really think it's good. I do. JVS H-Town with the sticker. Thank you. Naruto, oh God, super chat jump. Oh no. Naruto says, all Tea Party protests were deemed violent racist despite never being violent or racist. Well, that's exactly it. That is exactly correct. And if you're going to be deemed as a racist anyway, What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Except being called a racist, man. Just accept it. Chief A says, thank you for going, Carlin. You're very welcome. Cold Summer says, I hope this caused the pendulum to swing to populism, not Republicans. Cold Summer, I am 100% on the same page with you. Absolutely. Multi-Drider says, with incoming administration, don't be surprised if very little happens, just like the establishment does little when in charge. I agree. I agree. Listen, remember to when the Republicans controlled everything at the beginning of Trump's administration. They didn't do shit. They didn't. They got tax cuts, but really they could have done so much more. So just don't worry. Don't freak out. Don't say we're descending into socialism. We're going to be a socialist country next year. No, we're not, dude. No, we're not. That is a long, slow descent. I don't think we're going to descend like that. That doesn't mean we don't need to be vigilant. I think we do need to watch out, and we do need to speak up, and we need to remind people why that's a bad thing. This is something I've been thinking about. Like, I do think that we need to get better at trying to bring people along and back to this country being pretty effing awesome. People want to have hope. We are naturally geared towards having hope and being optimistic. Think about kids, man. Have you ever met a negative, pissed off baby? No, you haven't. They may be crying because they need something, but they're not negative, they're not pessimistic, they're not pissed off. This is learned behavior. Our default is optimism. And if we can give people a reason to be optimistic, if we can remind people that America is awesome, it is a beacon on the hill, man. It is. And we need to be reminding people of that. That is how we need to change minds in that regard. And you also have to remember that, a lot of people have been indoctrinated and taught to hate this country and to think it's a horrible racist place. That's taught. They're just as much a victim as anyone else. They don't know any different. The people that they trusted to teach them what is correct failed in that regard. Let's see. Oh God, hang on. Super chat jump again. Oh my God, you guys are so generous. Thank you so much. Alexandra M says, work closed early because of this. I think I was fed bad info about what's been going on by my coworkers and family. Wish I was there. Like, look at the videos, man. Look at it. Not just the violent ones, but look at just like the general videos. Because I posted a couple on my Twitter. Excuse me, I'm getting like congested. I just have like a head cold. Sometimes like when I talk for a long time, I get a little congested. It's not COVID, I promise. No, I mean, I've got videos of people just standing around having a good time. Like, it really, like, anyone who's made this out to be that everyone was violent is lying. That is not true. That is not true at all. That was not my experience. It is what it is. Laquicious Primate, I support your content, especially when I disagree. Well, thank you for that. Cats Turbo says, thank you for speaking out. People must get involved in their local politics. You can't be asleep at the wheel anymore. Carlin, what's next for me? What's next for me is I'm working on a book. That is the next thing. I'm actually going to write about this experience today in the very first chapter of the book. How can I not? Like, come on. But that's really the next big thing for me. Again, I may run for office. I may not. I've not made up my mind about that yet. We're going to have to see how some things go. They stretched the rubber band way too far and it finally snapped. That's from Linda W. Thank you for the super chat, Linda. Yeah, I mean, I agree. That's exactly what happened. All right, we got a couple more super chats and then I'm losing my voice. Chrissy says, thanks, Carlin. Watched you last night. How did you feel this morning? Dude. I'm not going to lie. I was hurting this morning. I had way too much champagne yesterday. I don't know what happened. It was like the flight attendants just kept giving me champagne. I don't turn down champagne when it's poured for me. I very rarely drink. That's the truth. Like, I very rarely drink. And so the time that I do drink is like when I'm in the airport and I'm bored. So I definitely got a little drunk last night. But I hope you guys enjoyed Nothing Remotely Controversial with me being drunk. I think I was a fun drunk last night. I think I was good. Yeah. All right, let's see. Naruto, did you hear about the pipe bombs at the DNC and RNC? I did hear about them, but I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. And it's too bad. Like, I don't condone that crap. I don't. Call Rap, thank you for the super chat. And Random Internet Person. Oh, good. It's always good when a super chat starts off. I don't want to come off as rude or anything like that. But unfortunately, I can't find any reason to be optimistic about this. I feel like I'm watching my country die. Well, you have to try. If you want to look at the scenario as the worst case scenario, you're always going to be very successful at it. If you want to look and find the positive in any scenario, you'll be successful at that too. There's always positive in any scenario. There's always positive. You have to want to find it though. And we're going to see. I don't think the country is dead. I think I saw life today. I saw life in that little rebellion. That's what it was. It was a little rebellion. It was a baby rebellion. It was a baby rebellion where 99% of people made their point and then they left peacefully and went back to their hotel and didn't bother anyone and didn't set anything on fire, didn't destroy anything, didn't loot any stores. They walked up the steps at the Capitol. That's really what it was. That was all it was. It was walking up the steps at the Capitol for the vast majority of people there, standing around, high-fiving, chanting USA, 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 taking a picture, and leaving. That was what it was. I'm for the birds. Ha, good name. I found you in December. I'm so glad I did. Thanks for telling it like it is and not worrying about what other people think. You're giving me courage too. Well, I appreciate that. That is pretty much the biggest compliment that you can give me, to say that I'm giving you courage to speak up. And guys, that's important. Listen, I know I'm going to catch flack for saying this stuff. I know I'm going to catch flack for saying that there was good that happened today. I don't care. I don't care. I think that every scenario can be looked at as the worst thing that's ever happened or the best thing that's ever happened. I usually try to sit somewhere in between. And I think that there's a world of good that came out of today. And I usually look at these things from a spiritual perspective too. I think it is a good thing when people find their power. I do. It makes me happy. And it made me happy for the people that were there, especially those little ladies with their fur that were like all about storming the Capitol. It was the best. All right, guys, that's all I have. Sorry I couldn't take more questions from the general chat, but honestly, you guys sent so many super chats. My voice is already kind of losing, and I really want to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm tired. Oh, we got one more. I'm listening. Tucker just described the shooting of a young woman. Looked to be in her 20s. Said someone focused on her face. She seems stunned. Yeah, that's a tragedy. There's no two ways about it. That's a tragedy. And I pray for her and her family and her friends. And it seems to me like it didn't have to happen that way. I don't know why she went in the building. I don't know why anyone went in the building. And I don't know why the glorified mall cops thought that was the best thing to do. I don't. So I think it's a tragedy all around. And let's just send prayers to her family and her friends. And that's really all we can do. That's all we can do. All right. Well, way to end it on a positive note. But again, guys, thank you for hanging out. I hope I provided some additional insight, maybe a perspective that you hadn't heard yet. That's all I can do is share with you what I experienced, right? And do it in the most authentic way that I can. But again, I have no regrets for today. I really don't. I wish people hadn't gone too far. That I don't think looks good. But I also don't think it's an accurate comparison to say that it's just like BLM and Antifa, because it is absolutely not. 100% not the same fucking thing. So that's really all I have. I'm gonna sign off now. I'm gonna take a rest, have a little like relaxing night here in DC, where I'm not gonna leave my hotel room. I'm actually overlooking Black Lives Matter Plaza, by the way. I can see the black on the street painting. I can see the black word clearly from my window. So I'll have a good view if anything goes down out there. But I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on. I hope everyone stays in. If you're in DC, hey, if you're in DC and you're watching this, you're probably in your hotel room, which is good. You should stay there. But I wish everyone well. Oh, God, I'm listening. It says one more. McConnell is speaking, totally doesn't get it, says they were trying to thwart the will of the people. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. And this is why the Republican Party, under Mitch McConnell, needs to die a slow, horrible death. Go fuck yourself, Mitch. Your time is over. Can you see the tear running down my face? It's going to be good, guys. I really do believe that. Well, stay safe, everyone. I'm traveling home tomorrow. Thank you for spending some time with me. Hit that thumbs up on the way out the door and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys soon, I guess. I don't know if I'm going to have content tomorrow. We're going to have to see. But maybe I'll bang something out in the morning before I go to the airport. But thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. And that's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.